Good morning. My name is Maureen Chung. Welcome to Daily Devotional of October the 24th. The passage is Psalm 125, verse 1 to 5, and the title is Cannot Be Shaken. It is also a song of ascents. Those who trust in the Lord are like Mount Zion, which cannot be shaken, but endures forever. As the mountains surround Jerusalem, so the Lord surrounds his people, both now and forevermore. The scepter of the wicked will not remain over the land allotted to the righteous, for then the righteous might use their hands to do evil. Lord, do good to those who are good, to those who are upright in heart. But those who turn to crooked ways, the Lord will banish with the evildoers. Peace be on Israel. Psalm 125 is titled A Song of Ascents. Traditionally, it is believed that the Jewish pilgrims sang these hymns on their way to Jerusalem's temple. In 586 BC, Judah fell to Babylon, Jerusalem was ransacked, the temple was destroyed, and the cream of the people were exiled to Babylon as captives. The assembly 3 times a year at the temple was stopped. If Book 5 of the Psalter was indeed collected by the scribe Ezra, who returned from exile to Jerusalem in 458 BC, then when they read about the mountains surrounding Jerusalem like the Lord surrounds his people, they would be comforted. How are the mountains surrounding Jerusalem? There are many views on this. One view suggests that Jerusalem is on the tip of the mountain range, flanked by the Kidron River Valley on the east and the Hinnom River Valley to the south and west. The mountain tops include Mount Moriah, Mount of Olives, and Mount Zion, etc. Due to the surrounding mountains, Jerusalem is not easily reached by the attackers. Another view is that Old Jerusalem is at a lower point on the mountain range because, viewing from the Mount of Olives on the east, Old Jerusalem is below. Old Mount Zion is Mount Moriah, which is the present-day Temple Mount. To the west is the new Mount Zion, where Jesus had his Last Supper with his disciples. This too is higher than the city of David. Therefore, the Old Jerusalem at the center is surrounded by mountains which act as a protective screen. Even so, Judah lost to Babylon in year 586 BC, and Jerusalem was ransacked. Thus, God is more reliable than the mountains, and his protection makes sure that Zion cannot be shaken. Not for a while, but forever. God protects his people who trust in him. Only God knows who trusts in him, and he knows who his people are. Faith is built upon the knowledge of God. Since God is trustworthy, his people can sleep. I would like to share with you about the Prayer Mountain in South Korea. The Kim dynasty in North Korea has spent a lot of money on weapons of war. They have tested short, medium, and long-range missiles, firing them over South Korea and Japan as a threat. In 2021, the gross domestic product of North Korea was only 35.89 trillion in US dollars, while the GDP of South Korea was at 2,071 trillion USD. South Korea produced economically 57 times of what North Korea produced. Yet North Korea spent much more than South Korea on weapons of war. Now, if the ceasefire is broken between the two and war resumes, South Korea would be at a disadvantage. How can South Korea handle the warmongering North Korea? It is a blessing that the Christians in South Korea have developed a habit of prayer over the last few decades. They gather to pray daily with an attitude of dependence on God. The famous prayer mountain was formed. They have an affordable hostel there for rent so that people can have prayer retreats. It is called the House of Agape. Each day, there are 4 worship services in the main sanctuary. For private prayers, people can use the prayer caves with doors that have locks. Men to the right and women to the left. They are free to pray aloud in their individual caves. This way, there has been a ceasefire between the 2 countries for decades. No skirmishes ever happened at the border. God has answered their prayer with his protection, and they are not shaken. We can say that the prayer mountain in South Korea is their Mount Zion. Psalm 125 verse 3 says, "The scepter of the wicked will not remain over the land allotted to the righteous, for then the righteous might use their hands to do evil." Scepter represents authority. Evil power cannot superimpose over the land of the righteous forever. Despotism cannot triumph over justice forever. Evil cannot suppress righteousness forever. Judah lost her country only for a short while. Ukraine being attacked by Russia only for a short time. South Korea being threatened by missiles only for a short duration. They do not remain even though the wicked come. This is a sinful world, and human beings deceive with lies. But God protects the righteous and limits the harm from the wicked so that the righteous will not retaliate with evil when they find the situation unbearable. God understands human weaknesses, and he separates his people from the others so that his people can keep the covenantal relationship with God. This is how God does good to those who are good, to those who are upright in heart. Verse 4. 1 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 13 comforts the righteous this way. "No temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, he will also provide a way out so that you can endure it." God knows how much we can bear. He cares. Verse 5 says, "But those who turn to crooked ways, the Lord will banish with the evildoers. Peace be on Israel." Those who turn to crooked ways are contrasted with those who are upright in heart. Verse 4. Evildoers are contrasted with those who are good. Verse 4 again. Thoughts affect attitude, and attitude determines actions. God is righteous, upright, and just. He rewards the good and punishes the evil. This is the natural result. How is God going to banish the evildoers? Miriam was jealous of Moses, and she slandered against him. God punished Miriam with leprosy. She was separated from the Israelite camp for 7 days until she recovered. Then she returned to the camp. It is in Numbers chapter 12 and the daily devotional of June the 16th on YouTube. Proverbs chapter 2 verse 21 to 22 says, "For the upright will live in the land, and the blameless will remain in it. But the wicked will be cut off from the land, and the unfaithful will be torn from it." The wicked are cut off, and the righteous have peace. This is what God does naturally, because that is his character. Reflection. If suffering comes from God's discipline, we should repent. If suffering comes from God's training, we should remain steadfast in trusting him. These are from the love of God. Yet, when the wicked temporarily threaten, the righteous still must not retaliate. Rather, be still and rest in God's protection. Remember one line: "Those who trust in the Lord are like Mount Zion, which cannot be shaken, but endures forever." I hope you will not be shaken because you trust in God. May God bless you all. Thank you for listening, and see you tomorrow. Please like and subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon to get new video updates. Thank you.